What's going on, people? This is Shad Harris, and this is
Elle Harris,
and this is another stupendous and wonderful and magnificent episode of Keepin It Lite. Today, actually, how you been? You know, even though we live in the house, how are you doing, wife?
this week is better. Last week was absolutely horrible.
That's why we didn't record last week. There was too much stress going on in the world and life in general. So,
Yeah.
But now that's over. We have a new president. We are back. So, and today we
You
are.
moved over my feelings real fast. You didn't let me go into you asked me how I feel, and it was just.
Oh, I thought that's what you had to say. Go ahead. How do you feel?
I don't got to no more. I don't want to watch. But I was drained last week. Not only did I not do this, I didn't do any of my personal videos. So I feel I have a whole DIY project that I stopped. I couldn't get out the bed for like 4 days last week. It was absolutely a horrible week. Horrible week.
Your breath smells like kiwi.
All right.
Okay, I just thought I'd point that out.
I haven't even eaten kiwi.
Okay.
Strawberries and banana smoothie.
All right, so today I want to talk about a subject, right? Let's give it a little bit of backstory. So, probably about 2 weeks ago, right? I went out with my friends. We all went out, and I forget how we started talking about it. But they were saying, like, as men, as husbands, before they can go out somewhere, especially for a night out, they have to ask their wife for permission, right? And I was like, that's interesting. I don't have to do that. So, like, that's cool if y'all got to do it, but that's something that I don't do. And so they pretty much looked at me crazy, like this is something that all men have to do. And I'm like, I don't have a marriage like that. I don't want a marriage like that. And it just doesn't make sense to me. Like, why, as a grown man, why should I have to ask permission to go out for a drink with my friends? So after asking multiple people, it seemed like a lot of people have to ask for permission to go out. And I just don't get it. I just don't get it. So, Elle, what are your thoughts on this?
Well, I guess I have two thoughts. I can only speak for where I live presently in my life, and I don't like to babysit people. I don't like to ask people for anything, or I don't like the thought of permission. I'm a grown woman. I pay my own bills. So to ask someone if I can do something sounds ludicrous to me. I'm just not going to do that. As I'm not going to have you ask me for permission. You live your life. Like, I just feel like that's too much of a restraint on a person to have to ask, can I do something? Now, I do think that it's courteous to say, hey, I'm doing this, because just in case someone had plans, whatever. But
with that, aren't you already, if you're communicating good with your spouse, you should probably already know those plans instead of like the day of, right?
I would say so. Unless someone has see, it's so weird, because I think for me, outside of Thursday and Sunday, I don't really care what you do.
Okay. And those are date night days.
Yeah, so outside of those days, it's like I've already know that those are the days that we will probably spend time together. So if it doesn't coincide with those days, I'm good. And if something does coincide, you'll be like, oh, I got to do this tonight. Can we switch the day or something like that? And then it goes back to what you said, communication. But outside of that, I don't see the big deal. Again, that's for our lifestyle. Now, speaking to one of my friends and her saying that when you have children, that kind of changes, I can understand. If you've been home all day with your kids, especially right now during the pandemic, if you're home all day with the kids and having to teach them, get them ready for school, then also trying to find a breather, and then your husband's like, oh, I didn't even come home, I'm going straight out with my friends, I'm sure that's probably a big thing.
Yeah.
But that's probably the flip for your friends, though.
Yeah, because one of my friends, he's actually home. Yeah, with his daughter.
So in that case, I feel like he deserves to go out even more. But that's just my thought. I don't see a big deal about it. Unless your husband's a cheating.
Yeah, if you got a history of doing some wild stuff when you go out, then I mean that makes sense. Mm-hmm. But otherwise, if it's Friday and you like, you know what, we're going to happy hour. I'm cool with like letting people know where I'm at just in case something crazy happens. You know where I'm at, but I don't think I would ever say like, hey, do you mind if I go out, or can I get your permission to step out for a second, or whatever the case may be. Like that makes no sense at all to me. Mm-hmm.
Do you mind if I go see my friends? Well, and then we were talking about how, because generally, like I think it's rare that I would text you. If it's like, I think maybe 1 or 2 times I have texted you, and it's been like 2:00 in the morning, and I've texted you because of like fear that something's happened because black men be disappearing and getting shot.
But I don't really be out at 2:00.
It's only been like 1 or 2 times,
right?
And it was just out of like fear that something had happened to you. But outside of that,
yeah, one of the guys said like, what if, you know, that night we all wanted to go out till like 2:00 in the morning. I was like, of course I would let my wife know where I'm at because that's outside of the norm. Mm-hmm. But if it's 11:00, like I'm not going to say, hey, you know, I'm still out, like I'm coming home soon or whatever like that, because that's pretty much the norm for me. Like if I go out Fridays, it's usually from like 5 or 6 till like 10, 11 or whatever like that. I'm not the person that's going to be out all night because I get tired and I get bored. So after a while, I was like, all right, I'm out. So I feel like that's in the norm of what I normally do. So there's no need for me to kind of let you know, because you know me, you know I'm not going to be out all night. Mm-hmm. But yeah, just asking for permission, it's just wild to me. And I feel like that actually stems from the toolbox theory that I feel like you have.
No, I don't see that. I think that some women feel like that's something they're supposed to do. Like they're supposed to know their husband's every move. They're supposed to be able to like, I mean, I know a man that suffers with that, you know, and I feel really bad for him a lot. Like his wife is like, I don't want you to do anything but be with me. And
but I feel like men are in control of that though.
Are they? Okay, so I wouldn't say toolbox, but I think it goes back to that happy wife, happy life situation. Like where I just want my wife to be happy, so I'm just going to comply and like make her feel good. I don't want her to be insecure about anything. And
then when you keep having to comply, then you become like, you know what? Instead of, I know I want to go out with my friends to drink when the game is on, but let me make sure I ask my wife because she might spaz or she might get an attitude or whatever like that. So you just become this subservient, compliant ass nigga.
Toolbox is like you do everything and you get walked all over.
That's pretty much what that is.
Toolbox is like,
that's pretty much
you're
what
not going anywhere. You're actually going to sit here and clean that living room.
What? Scrub these baseboards.
That's a toolbox.
Thought you was gonna grab a drink. Thought you was gonna go out. You better go out and get some bleach and get it cleaning.
Hit these baseboards.
Go out and hit these baseboards. That's what you're gonna do.
Oh my God! And then you just take a video and then post it. Yeah, that's the toolbox.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much when you comply all the time. It pretty much leads you to that toolbox category.
I don't think that's what it is, but I think that there's something deeper, and I feel like there should be a conversation, unless. Some men may not mind asking permission. But
I feel like that leads to what you've seen in your life, like the men around you. Mm-hmm. Because I feel like I'm the way that I am because I didn't really have any... trying not to say this without sounding fucked up, but fuck it. I don't really have any male figures that I seen lived a married life that I like admired to be. Mm-hmm. Like, my dad, I feel like he would say it, so he probably wasn't the greatest husband.
Mm-hmm.
And then I feel like, after that, there was nobody else around. I was like, yo, I want to live like that.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like the guys that I know, they fathers are, my dad's around too, but they live with their fathers like all their life. And their father and mothers are married. So you look at that person like, all right, well, my dad is my hero, or the guys that, I look up to or admire to be. So I'm going to do exactly everything he does.
Interesting. Because I lived like that with my mom and my stepdad.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't, have you asked me for permission?
I feel like you probably just saw that side recently, though.
No, but I mean, like growing up.
And it might be different.
I'm trying to think, like, if my stepdad was like,
and you probably,
I probably don't remember that much. Maybe I don't remember it. Maybe I feel like maybe I had a different view of what their marriage was.
And I think this is more like a man thing.
Okay.
Because I feel like men, to be able to do something, you have to see somebody else do it, and then you kind of like mimic that to a certain degree.
Okay.
But like my dad, I saw that, he wasn't the greatest of husbands. So at an early age, I knew like that's not what I wanted to be.
Now, when you were younger, so I don't know if that makes a difference. Just think about men who grew up in a single parent house. Did your mom like always have you ask her for permission to go places, or did you have to tell her, like, did you say, Mom, I'm going out, or did you have to like ask her permission for different things?
I did have to ask permission. Like,
okay.
I remember like the last time I got a beating, my mom said like from the street that we lived on, I couldn't go more than like the 4th street over. Or ride on the main street, which was Portsmouth Boulevard. One time she caught me riding on that, and then she gave me a beating. So after that, I was like, man, fuck this. Like, I ain't gonna be getting beat for stupid stuff. So that's kind of probably the start of me being defiant.
So, all right, so you said you weren't gonna get beat for stupid stuff. So then that means that you made sure you lived in the rules that she gave you, or did you like just say, I'm just gonna do whatever I want to. I'm gonna go to the 7th Street, and I'm just not gonna get caught.
A little bit of both. If she was around, I stayed within parameters, but when she was gone, I was out.
Interesting. That's dangerous. I say that's dangerous because I think about the men who live that life of like being like their wives put them in this box and say, you can only do this, you can only do that. When they get a little bit of that freedom, freedom feels real good. Yeah. And then you're trying to find ways to escape so that you can do more of those things that feel good.
Right.
So, that's dangerous.
Yeah.
That's definitely dangerous.
But I feel like I learned that at a young age. So now it's like freedom is just a way of life for me. To be able to like just flow how I want to flow. Be respectful, but just still be like, all right, I might be out Virginia Beach one day. I might be out Hampton one day. And it just...
You might go to Miami. Talk about that.
Or Atlanta.
Let's add that in there.
Or North Carolina. Well, we just flow.
Yeah. Rashad went to Miami during the pandemic, which I thought was absolutely crazy.
It was a great time.
But he had a great time. I wasn't gonna stop him if that's something you want to do. Have fun. But I'm not
didn't get COVID, anything.
Yeah. Got strip search when he got home. Had to burn all his clothes. And, But, I mean, I don't know. I move different. I feel like, because some people will probably say, oh, that's too much freedom to give a person. But you don't marry someone to put them in...
shackles.
Yeah, you don't marry them to enslave them. And I feel like this is a great analogy. I was talking to somebody about this the other day. We grew up in like the Pentecostal church, right? And during the time, like before,
you had on like jean dresses.
They wore like, they couldn't wear jeans at all, so you had to wear long skirts.
You didn't have like the jean long skirt though.
When I was younger, I didn't have to. We had to wear skirts. I think my mom made us wear skirts, so we were like 7th or 8th grade, so maybe like 11 or 12, 13, that's when we could start. That's when we could wear pants to church. But before then, we had to wear skirts. And like the Pentecostal church that my mom and then went to, like my uncle, it was different. Like they had to wear their skirts to the ankles. However, they did all of this to not like entice the men within the church, but people were still getting pregnant.
Knocked up.
Still getting knocked up. So, and I always feel like the skirt is the easiest access. I don't care how long it is. Pants is a little bit harder to get to. You can throw them skirts. So I say all that.
Slide them drawers to the side and you're in there.
Exactly. I say all that to say, people can say you can give people too much freedom, but I feel like God gives us the same freedom. He gives us freedom to do whatever. We have free choice to do whatever we want. If you want to go out and be crazy, go out and be crazy. You just have to suffer the consequences. But to continue to like shackle a person or say, you can't do this, you can't do this, I want you home by this time, that is too much of a restraint. And when you continuously give someone restraint, when they get a little bit of freedom, freedom feels good. Like rebellion feels good. It is like a rush. And people get a little bit of that rush, it'll mess you up. It could ruin your marriage. So I think that I feel like
not to cut you off. I feel like it's good to have freedom, to live in freedom, because with that you automatically give yourself restraints. It's not somebody else putting shackles on you. It's like, you know what? I know if I keep going out to drink, I'm gonna lose money. I'm gonna be hungover, and then you're like, nah, I'm just cool with my couple of hours of doing, going out, drink, having a good time with my friends, and then go home. Instead of somebody telling you like, you need to be home by 10 o'clock. You're like, nah, fuck that. Like I'm out, I'm grown. And then you rebel and you're like, you know what, I'm going to stay out till 4 or 5 o'clock. So giving yourself your own freedom,
your own boundaries
leads you to having more constraints in your life. And, it makes you not feel, not envious, but restricted for the most part, yeah.
I think that's a good way.
Yeah.
To look at it. And I think that if you really love the person that you're with, you're not going to do it so much.
Right.
Like you're not going to do it so many crazy things when you go out. So just keeping that in mind, that will make you, having the freedom to do it your way will make you put your own boundaries in place, because you're doing that because of the love that you have for someone else. Like there's just certain places I'm not going to go. I know what's going to happen when I go there. Like that's just, that's just me. And I'm a homebody for the most part. So I don't really need to go out.
You get drained by being around people?
I get drained so bad. So, and my drainage just getting worse.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. All right, I feel like we're rambling now.
We are rambling.
Yeah. So yeah. So men, don't ask for permission. Don't do that. I gotta say, men, don't ask for permission. Just go.
Don't do that.
Let your wife know where you be at. Let her know that you'll be back when you say you'll be back, or when you walk back through them doors.
Don't listen to that man if you want to keep your house happy. Have a conversation with your wife.
Don't be a toolbox.
Have a conversation with your wife.
Don't let her walk all over you. Don't comply. Just do what you say you're gonna do. All right? That's the rule to being happy. I'm gonna write my guru
Talk
book.
to your wife and let her know if this is a real problem for you, and you don't. And just because your friend may not have to ask life for permission, if you're okay with asking for permission, keep living your life the way you do. Don't let Rashad get you divorced, because he ain't gonna let you live with him or help you pay them bills or alimony or child support.
Sure not.
So live your life the best way you can.
Live your life, King, but do what I say. All right, so that's it.
That is it.
All right, so you guys be safe out there. Be happy. Don't comply. And live your life.
Comply.
Once again, I'm Shad.
And I'm Elle.
And you guys have a great one.
You too.
And don't be a sucker.